But moving on then on to the next earnings interaction we have is Technocraft Industries. The company reported a 5.5% decline in its net profit on a year-on-year basis. The revenue, however, was up. But Navneet Kumar Saraf, the CEO of the company, is joining us now to discuss the numbers in greater detail. Mr. Saraf, good morning. Thank you so much for joining in. I'll start off with the margins straight away. They were down on a year-on-year basis. If you could elaborate what impacted the margins this time around, and they have been below that 20% mark for last few quarters now. When do you see that going back to that level of 20% and then beyond that?
Yes, good morning. Thank you for having me. So, yes, the margins compared to the first quarter of last year are a little lower this quarter. Having said that, we are better than the preceding March quarter. The main impact on the margins have been, a reduction in volumes in our scaffolding business compared to the first quarter of last year. But it's actually picked up over the last 2 quarters. We had some slowdown in the European markets and, due to the ongoing Ukraine crisis, but that's actually picking back up. The India business has also been doing well. So as a result of that, we are seeing the margins coming back. The drum closure business also has been improving on the margins front. So I think overall, while still lower compared to the first quarter last year, but on a quarter-on-quarter basis, it's been increasing.
All right. Do you expect to end FY25 with a margin of 20% plus?
Yeah, so, there are numerous things happening in the scaffolding business. We have our new plant in Aurangabad that's getting commissioned. So we'll see some effect of that in the last 2 quarters. So I would expect we will. Yes.
Okay, all right. Hi, Mr. Navneet. Good morning and good to see you win. Just a quick question. The couple of your segments are still making losses. That's the yarn and textile business, which is smaller in comparison to the others. That moves back into the black. You've done some measures. You've taken some measures, I think, the last 6 months or so to see a turnaround. Does that go back into the black in the coming quarter?
Yes. So, that segment has been challenging for the past couple of years. However, we are seeing some improvements. We relocated the yarn plant to Amravati, where the costs were lower. The product mix was improved. We are seeing some improvement in the realizations and the market in general. So I think the ongoing quarters should be better for the textile business. While the first quarter was in the red, it was also impacted by very heavy depreciation costs on the new plant and equipment that was there. So on a cash basis, it was actually positive. So we expect better results for that also in the ongoing quarters.
So you spoke of the scaffoldings business, Mr. Saraf. That's your largest business, if I'm correct. And barring the formwork division, the volumes have risen, but the margins and the ROCE have seen a decline. Now, is there pressure on realizations within this business, Mr. Saraf? And if you could also share the kind of order book that you are sitting on for this particular business and the business overall as well.
Yeah. So there are two parts to the scaffolding business, the scaffolding and the formwork business. The scaffolding business is almost 100% export based. That's largely based in the US, and it's been doing very well. It's steady. We don't see much impact on margins there. The formwork business, which is the aluminium and steel formwork business, is largely domestic. There's been increase in the cost of raw material, mainly aluminium there, which has impacted the margins. The volumes, though, are pretty good, and we are sitting on strong order book on the aluminium formwork business. As of now, we're sitting on about 6 months order book on that, which is why we're also increasing our capacity, and we're also doing backward integration there by putting up our own aluminium extrusion plant.
Okay, all right. A quick question then, sir. Gradually your PAT on a quarterly basis is slowly moving to around that 100 crores mark. For this year, do you think, going by all the measures you have taken and put everything together, do you think a net profit number of close to around 500 crores is possible in this year? I recall the last time we chatted with the management of Technocraft, we were flirting with the number of 250 crores for last year, that's FY24, and doubling the profitability in the coming year. So is that on the cards?
Not in FY25, because in this year we will not get the full impact of our greenfield plant in scaffolding in Aurangabad. We'll only have impact of about 4 months of that. But once that is fully commissioned, the full impact of that will be seen in FY26. That new plant will add about 450 crores on a year basis to the top line for the scaffolding segment, and about 80 crores of profit. So once that we see the full impact of that, yes, we'll certainly touch 500 crores of PBT. But that'll be in FY26. FY25 will be somewhere in between.
One final question, Mr. Saraf, on the buyback, sir. It's not the first time that you have announced a buyback. You've done one in 16, 18, you did one in 22 as well. But I wanted to ask you in particular is because was this in the works earlier itself, or has this decision to undertake a buyback being done after the announcements that were made in the union budget with regards to the buyback and the taxation aspect of it?
No, so, as you've seen, we have always focused on buyback. We've done 3 buybacks before this. So buyback is something that we believe in and we would always like to do. So this was always in the works. Obviously, it's been accelerated as a result of what's happened. But I mean, it was always in the works for us to do a buyback this year.
Okay. All right. Very quickly, FY26, 500 crores. FY25, somewhere around 350 crores net profit?
Yes, we should be somewhere close to, somewhere better than that, yes.
Appreciate you joining in, Mr. Navneet, and giving us all of those details. So 350 crores plus for this year. We'll hold you at that number. Wishing you all the best.